She was one of the most talented and complete artists of the 1970s, but no one knew that behind that overwhelming success, she was fighting a hard and silent battle. Today, we'll explore the tragic story of Karen Carpenter, the unmistakable voice of the Carpenters, and how a single ill-intentioned photograph marked the beginning of her downfall, unleashing the cruelest side of fame. Let's begin. Karen Carpenter was born on March 2nd, 1950, in New Haven, Connecticut. She was the younger daughter of Harold and Agnes Carpenter, raised in a middle-class Methodist family. From a very early age, Karen felt a deep need to earn affection, and above all, approval from her mother, Agnes. A strong, strict, and perfectionist woman who dominated the atmosphere of the household. Her father, Harold, was more reserved, but he shared something that connected profoundly with his children: a love for music. In the basement of their home, Karen and her older brother Richard spent countless hours listening to records, sharing an almost sacred ritual that forged an unbreakable bond between them. Richard was 3 years older than Karen, and from an early age he amazed everyone with his piano skills. He was a true prodigy. That talent convinced Agnes that the family had to take a bold step. So in 1963, they sold their house and moved to Downey, California, to be closer to the major recording studios of Los Angeles. The official reason? To support Richard's musical career. What no one knew at the time was that this move would also become a major challenge for Karen, one she would have to adapt to, as we'll see next. Life in California brought major changes for the Carpenter family. And not just for Richard. Karen, now in her teenage years, began to discover her own musical path. She never cared much for math or physical education, but she increasingly shared her brother's love for music. So much so that she joined the school band simply to avoid gym class. And it was there, almost by accident, that she sat behind a drum kit for the very first time. What happened next was pure magic. Karen became obsessed with the instrument. She practiced relentlessly. Her sense of rhythm was so natural that it astonished everyone, her brother included. After graduating from high school, she joined the choir at California State University, Long Beach. There, she not only refined her technique, she also drew attention for her voice. A warm, deep, soulful contralto, something truly rare. By the mid-1960s, Karen and Richard began performing together more seriously. He on piano, she on drums. In 1965, they formed a jazz trio with a friend, the Richard Carpenter Trio. They played small clubs around Hollywood, where Karen still remained in the background. She was the drummer and an occasional backing vocalist. She preferred to stay out of the spotlight, but her talent was impossible to hide. In 1966, the trio won the Battle of the Bands at the legendary Hollywood Bowl. That victory opened the door to a recording contract with RCA Records. But the dream was short-lived. They never recorded an album, and the group soon dissolved. Despite the setback, Richard refused to give up. He was certain of one thing: his sister's voice was a treasure. A diamond in the rough, he used to say. With that conviction, he kept pushing forward. After another failed attempt with a band called Spectrum, Richard still didn't quit. He continued shopping their demos around, knocking on doors at record labels, until finally, one of them said yes and gave them a chance. In April 1969, everything changed. Herb Alpert, yes, the legendary musician and founder of A&M Records, heard a demo by the Carpenters and was blown away. So much so that he didn't just offer them a recording contract, but something extremely rare in the music industry: complete creative freedom. And it was Alpert who had one crucial idea: record a gentle ballad written by Burt Bacharach that other artists had already passed on. The song was called "They Long to Be Close to You." The rest is history. The song became an instant hit. It reached #1 in 1970 and turned Karen and Richard into international stars.
Why do stars close to you?
They went from playing small clubs to being heard on radios all across the country. Suddenly, their faces were everywhere: magazine covers, interviews, television appearances. In 1971, they won 2 Grammy Awards, including Best New Artist. The formula was irresistible. Richard's elegant arrangements combined with Karen's warm, velvety voice captivated even listeners who were more accustomed to the louder rock dominating the era. The Carpenters offered something different, something deeply emotional. That's how the Carpenters became synonymous with polished harmonies, soul-embracing songs, and a carefully crafted aesthetic. And it wasn't just a stroke of luck. The streak continued. After "Close to You" came gems like "We've Only Just Begun," "Rainy Days and Mondays," "Top of the World," "Please Mr. Postman," and "There's a Kind of Hush." All of them timeless classics.
We've only just begun.
Their albums "Close to You," 1970, and Carpenters, 1971, went multi-platinum. Critics showered praise on Richard's arrangements and, above all, on Karen's unmistakable voice. In 1972, they were even invited to perform at the White House by President Richard Nixon. That same year, their song "For All We Know" won the Academy Award for Best Original Song in a Motion Picture. Karen, who had initially hidden behind the drum kit, was soon forced to step into the spotlight. Audiences wanted to see the owner of that heavenly voice. At just 20 years old, the shy girl who once took refuge behind cymbals was now a star. And not just any star. She was admired for her extraordinary talent and an almost ethereal beauty that mesmerized. Throughout the first half of the 1970s, the Carpenters lived through their golden age. Sold-out world tours, albums selling by the millions, songs that never left the charts. In 1973, they were the highest-grossing musical act in the United States. Their impeccable image as a pair of gifted siblings made them regulars on television and holiday specials. Karen, with her sweet and melancholic voice, was redefining what it meant to sing a pop ballad. Even fellow musicians, and many from later generations, praised her without hesitation. Karen had one of the most beautiful voices in the history of popular music. There has never been anyone like her, and there never will be, her brother Richard would later say, her greatest admirer. And in 1975, an unexpected honor surprised everyone. Readers of Playboy voted Karen Carpenter Best Drummer of the Year. She even surpassed several male rock musicians. A fact many forget today. Karen didn't just sing. She was an exceptional drummer with enviable technique. But as so often happens, the spotlight also cast long shadows. As fame grew, so did the pressure. Karen was modest and deeply reserved. And even as success pushed her forward, fear was always there. She suffered from stage fright. She struggled before every performance. She smiled for the audience. But inside, she carried a tension few could see. Critics praised her for her unique, beautiful voice, Yet Karen kept telling herself she wasn't a great singer. In her mind, she was always a drummer who happened to sing. That humility made her endearing, but it also concealed something deeper. A constant fear of not being good enough, of disappointing others. And most troubling of all, by that same year, Karen weighed barely 90 pounds, 41 kilos, and somehow, almost no one seemed to notice, as we'll see next. Behind the curtain of success, Karen Carpenter was fighting a hard and silent battle. It began almost without anyone noticing. At just 17, fresh out of high school, Karen decided she wanted to lose a few pounds. She wasn't overweight, but the fashion of the late 1960s dictated otherwise. Thinness was in vogue. The ideal image was Twiggy, the model of the moment. Karen tried a popular diet plan and lost more than 30 pounds, right around the time the Carpenters recorded their first album in 1969. At first, everything seemed under control. She ate properly and took care of herself. But over time, subtle warning signs appeared. She would indulge, then secretly compensate by cutting food later. A habit that went largely unnoticed, but marked the beginning of something dangerous. Then came success, and all its pressure. Touring, concerts, cameras everywhere, irregular meals, constant exhaustion. In that whirlwind, maintaining balance became nearly impossible. A breaking point came in 1973. Karen saw a photo of herself performing on stage in Lake Tahoe. She was wearing an unflattering outfit and noticed a small roll of flesh on her abdomen. That was enough to alarm her. From that day on, she became even more severe with her image. She began drastically reducing portions, counting every bite, hiding food. She even developed table tricks to make it look like she was eating, just to avoid worrying her family. Meanwhile, the media did what it so often does. Some commentators, with no tact whatsoever, focused on her physical appearance. They hinted that she looked a bit chubby, that she didn't look like a star. Those words, superficial as they were, cut deeply. They fueled a destructive obsession with controlling her body until she completely lost touch with how she truly looked. By 1974, the situation could no longer be hidden. Karen was visibly thinner, yet she continued to deny it, hiding behind loose clothing and a smile. In 1975, her body finally collapsed. Weighing barely 90 pounds, 41 kilos, she was rushed to a hospital in Los Angeles. The diagnosis was clear. Doctors ordered complete rest. Over the next 8 years, the struggle never truly stopped. There were periods of improvement, followed by relapses. She resorted to extreme methods to stay thin, while her heart grew weaker and weaker. In public, she remained the sweet, gentle Karen everyone adored. Behind the scenes, she was exhausted and profoundly alone, even without the support of those who should have been protecting her the most. From the outside, the Carpenter family seemed perfect. But behind closed doors, everything revolved around tension and control. By this point, Karen Carpenter was already an adult woman, successful, financially independent, and eager to have a life of her own. She wanted to move out, live alone, and claim her independence. Her mother, Agnes Carpenter, was unwilling to let go. In her eyes, Karen was still her little girl, and any attempt at freedom was seen as a threat. Not even the global success of her children was enough to change that dynamic. In 1978, Richard Carpenter began struggling with severe insomnia and exhaustion, the result of relentless pressure from fame and constant touring. To cope, he developed a heavy dependence on prescription medication. A year later, he entered rehabilitation, forcing the duo to take a break. For the first time, Karen found herself alone, without her brother by her side. She decided to seize that moment and try something different, recording her first solo album. With the support of her manager, Jerry Weintraub, she traveled to New York to work on the project. But when the album was finally presented to the record label in 1980, the response was devastating. It was rejected for allegedly lacking commercial potential. Karen was crushed. Years later, it became known that there was more behind that rejection than simple business criteria. Richard, jealous of the idea that his sister might shine on her own without him, had intervened to stop the release. It was a brutal blow. Karen had always admired her brother. To discover that he had quietly sabotaged her dream felt like a silent betrayal, one that left deep scars. And through it all, Agnes was still there. Her mother never truly validated Karen's achievements. She openly favored Richard, whom she regarded as the musical genius of the family. Karen, by contrast, was treated as the obedient daughter, meant to sing, smile, and never question anything. As Karen's health continued to deteriorate, her family minimized what was happening. Her mother dismissed it as mere artistic whims, while Richard, overwhelmed by his own struggles, didn't know how or was unable to help her. With all of this weighing on her shoulders, one more blow was still to come, a final one that would change everything. In 1980, after the failure of her solo album and the lack of support from her own family, Karen Carpenter believed she had finally found comfort in love. At 30 years old, she met Thomas James Burris, a handsome man, older than her, a divorced real estate agent. After just a few months of romance, Tom proposed. Karen, full of hope, began planning the wedding of her dreams. For the first time, she felt her personal life was finally taking shape. She wanted a family. She wanted to be a mother. She longed for stability. But just 1 week before the wedding, Tom confessed something that left her in shock. He could not have children. He had undergone a medical procedure and had never told her. For Karen, it was devastating. She wanted to call off the wedding. Her mother, Agnes Carpenter, would not allow it. She said the invitations had already been sent. Canceling would cause a scandal. It would damage Karen's public image. Broken, but obedient, Karen went through with the wedding on August 31st, 1980. The marriage quickly turned into a nightmare. Tom mistreated her and humiliated her over her physical appearance. 14 months later, Karen filed for divorce, heartbroken and with her self-esteem in ruins. But the damage was already done. Tom had shattered her heart. And from that point on, something in her eyes went dark. In 1981, during a European tour, her condition became impossible to ignore. In Paris, she was seen buying large quantities of laxatives and other products she used to purge the food she consumed. That moment set off every alarm. At last, her family agreed to seek professional help. Karen traveled to New York to begin treatment with a specialized therapist. The diagnosis was clear. She needed deep, sustained treatment, along with the support of her loved ones. But family therapy failed. Her parents did not understand the seriousness of the situation. Both they and Richard Carpenter felt offended when the therapist suggested they might be part of the problem. They walked away from the sessions. Once again, Karen left feeling completely alone and burdened by guilt for bothering others with her pain. Still, she carried on. That same year, she recorded the album Made in America with Richard, unaware that it would be their last together. By mid-1982, pretending was no longer possible. Weighing under 88 pounds, less than 40 kilos, Karen Carpenter was suffering from edema and her heart was beginning to fail. In September, she collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. Doctors decided to feed her intravenously. For weeks, her body was sustained artificially. She gained a little weight. Color slowly returned to her face. She seemed to be improving. By December, those who saw her noticed small signs of recovery. Karen herself felt proud. She looked in the mirror and, for the first time in a long while, saw a hint of hope. After leaving the hospital, she spent the 1982 holiday season in California with her family. She moved back into her parents' home in Downey, still too weak to live on her own. Although she remained alarmingly thin, something in her spirit had changed. She had plans. She spoke about recording a new album with Richard Carpenter. She even dreamed of touring again, if she could fully recover. On January 11th, 1983, Karen made her final public appearance. It was at a tribute event honoring Grammy winners. That night, elegantly dressed and wrapped in loose clothing, she tried to conceal her fragility, but not her joy. On February 1st, Karen had dinner with Richard. They spent hours talking about music, future projects, and renewed hopes. No one imagined it would be the last time they would see each other. On the morning of February 4th, 1983, Karen woke up early. That day, she was scheduled to sign the final papers of her divorce. A painful chapter she wanted to close once and for all. Minutes later, a dull thud shattered the silence of the house. Agnes ran upstairs and found her lying on the floor of the walk-in closet. Karen was unconscious. There was no detectable pulse. Her father, Harold, and the housekeeper tried desperately to revive her as paramedics rushed in. At 9:51 a.m., at Downey Community Hospital, the unthinkable was confirmed. Karen Carpenter was gone. She was only 32 years old. The world was left in shock. Fans, musicians, the media. No one could believe it. The sweetest voice in pop music had been silenced far too soon. The medical report revealed the cause: cardiac failure, brought on by years of physical exhaustion. Her body, damaged by extreme dieting and prolonged malnutrition, could no longer endure. Her heart simply stopped. Today, more than 40 years later, her legacy lives on. Listening to "They Long to Be Close to You" or "Rainy Days and Mondays" is like hearing her breathe again, a gentle whisper that slips straight into the soul. Richard later summed it up in words that still ache, in an interview for the Grammy Awards blog. "Every day that passes, I feel her absence more deeply. I keep thinking about all the years we could have spent making music together. And perhaps that is what moves us most about her story. That behind the star, there was a young woman suffering in silence, yet still giving the world the most beautiful thing she had to offer. Her voice, her art, her soul. Karen is gone, but every note she left behind is still alive. And as long as someone listens to her music, her light will never fade." Sometimes, not even talent, fame, or the love of millions is enough to save the ones who need it most. But rock history also holds the other side of the story. Stories where a single song doesn't destroy a life, but instead changes everything. In the next video, we'll explore how one unforgettable song transformed Journey from a struggling band into true rock legends, and how that moment defined their destiny forever. Click on the next video and discover the song that made Journey immortal. I'll see you there, my fellow rock fan.